Hi everyone. I know the heading says how to reduce Chini. I'm not talking about sugar. I'm talking about reducing using Chinese products. Well, yeah, before we get into how to reduce Chinese products, let me give you a few details about China which might be shocking to a few of you, and most of you would be aware because now China is a big enemy to India and now it's in trend. But did you know that China actually shares its border with only 14 countries? Only, yeah, but 14 countries. But then they have a border dispute with 17 countries. Now, why is that? Well, China does not believe in actual borders, but what they are looking at is strategically placing themselves so that in future, if there's any war so that they can attack all the countries in a proper way, one, and strategically placing their borders and getting economical corridors into all the countries so that they can extend their business. That is one. Did you also know that because I'm making this video today, I can never travel to China or Hong Kong because now they have introduced a new law wherein if you are seen speaking anything against China, they have the rights to arrest you. It doesn't matter what your nationality is, and it doesn't even matter if it's a minute thing or a big thing. Now, the law that they have introduced says that anyone who speaks against China, whether on media or on their social networking sites or whatever, they have the rights to arrest them. So now, do you want to do business with a country like that? Well, it's a communist country. It's not a democratic country like us. So free speech, freedom of speech, and all that would not be there. But then let's understand how China does business. Well, there is two things that they look into. Well, if it's a country which has got a very bad economy, let's say for example Pakistan or India, sorry, not India, Pakistan or Nepal. Uh, what happens is what they do is they go ahead and offer them projects wherein they'll say that they will. A recent example is the Pakistan one, where they'll say that they'll go ahead and build an economic corridor. But what they do is they'll give you a loan, saying that 40% would be invested by China, 60% would be invested by the country in which this particular project would be happening. And then what they do is because the country's economy is bad, they would not have the money, they'll go ahead and give them a loan. And once the loan is given, what they also do is they put a stipulating clause saying that you have to go ahead and employ Chinese to work on this project. So what happens is if a certain amount is given, the money goes back to China because the project is conducted by Chinese companies itself. So automatically, whatever money is being given as a loan to the particular country goes back to the same country, that is goes back to China. But then the 60% money that the country would not be able to invest, that is in this example Pakistan, what they would do is they would go ahead and give them that particular loan with a huge interest. So now the country would not be able to pay this interest, so automatically what happens is that you are always in debt to China and the interest keeps growing. You did not create any employment because the condition says that you have to employ a Chinese company itself to go ahead and carry on the project. So there's no employment created in that particular country. As well as you are in debt. They've given you so much loan. They are just like any loan sharks that we face here. That is one thing. Now, if it's a big economy like India, can they do this? No, because India would not go ahead and take a loan from China. So what do they do? They'll go ahead and tell them that we will go ahead and introduce our products in your country. Now, when they introduce their products in a country, what they do is they go ahead and give you so much product. When I say so much, the quantity that is introduced in that particular market, let's say they go ahead and start giving us crackers, which is happening already. If you buy five crackers which are made in China compared to the crackers which is made in India, the price range is very low. So what they do is they dump it in so much quantity that there is no way that you can ignore them. There are quite a few examples, not only firecrackers, you have slippers, wherein all the slippers are made in China and they're imported by India. In fact, if we compare the import and export ratio between India and China, there's a huge difference. And why is that? China would not allow you to go ahead and implement your products in that country until and unless you have invested in one of their countries and your one of their companies, not countries, sorry, one of their companies, and you do your business through those companies and not directly. So what they do is they see to it that no new companies from any other country comes into China. But then, even if you come in, you have to invest in a company in China so that they can go ahead and make profit out of that as well. But wherein when they come into your country, they would not. Whether it's India or any other country, they would not do that. They would directly go ahead and import all these products, and the amount of product that's sent across the quantity is so much that they will kill all the small companies in your own country, right? Because when the quantity is so much, they reduce the price as well. Okay, I know they would incur losses initially, but then if you introduce so much quantity into the market that the local players or the small players cannot compete with them, automatically all these small companies shut down. Recent survey says about 4 out of 10 companies shut down, right? That's because of what China does. What they also do is they invest in startups, whether it's in India or any other country that they're doing business in. They invest in startups, and once they've gone ahead and invested in startups, what they also do is they buy shares of those companies and invest for more than 10% in that company. So they have a voting power. So they indirectly control the company as well. Now, should we stop buying all those products? No, there's a different theory with regards to that as well. But then, why can't we stop importing everything from China? Well, for starters, WTA, that's World Trade Association, would not allow you to outright ban a country, okay, from importing. But then, yeah, as a country, we can go ahead and look for substitutes. But can we go ahead and make all the products that China sends us through our own companies? Not all, maybe a few. So we can go ahead and look into what companies can be replaced. Like slippers, we don't need China, do we? It's still made in India and the price is not that crazy, or even firecrackers. So we can look at those factors as to what are the things that a country can produce on their own and go ahead and make them here and become self-sufficient, or maybe look for an alternative. These are the solutions that India can look into. Look for an alternative country. Japan, when it comes to electronics or any mobile or anything as such, Japan, Korea, good competition to China. Yeah, there might be a little bit of price difference there, but having said that, well, the quality is almost equal. So we can go ahead and look at. So as a government, can they do this outright ban immediately? They cannot. It's a long process. It might take about 5 years or 10 years, but it's not impossible. It can be done, and we also see that our Prime Minister is working towards that particular goal. But as Indians, what we can do to help our government? First and foremost, let's stop buying toys or crackers or chappals which are made in China. Outright ban is not possible because of WTA, but as Indians, we can go ahead and ban them. We can go ahead and stop buying them. So also understand, because the ban thing is happening all over, what China is also doing is they have gone ahead and changed the way they mention it on their MRP pamphlets. They don't say made in China now. It says ROC, that means Republic of China. So make sure you go ahead and check where the product is made. If you don't like the quality of any product that's made in India, respect that fact. But at least what we can do is we can go ahead and see that the product is not made in China. Now, mobiles or TVs or whatever we have in our house already, and all these things carry all the products. The mobile would carry a lot of materials which are made in China. Now, throwing them is foolishness because you already paid for it, right? So, whatever money is supposed to go to China is already gone. Then what's the use of throwing them? Now, I even saw a protest wherein people bought new stuff from the shop, opened the packets, and then they burnt it, saying that we protest China. You already bought the product from the shop, so you give them the business. So, what foolishness is that? So, whatever's there at home, let it be there. Going forward, let's make sure that we check where the product is made. Okay, once we do that, automatically, if not completely, out of 100 people, even if 20, 30 people go ahead and stop buying products made in China, that's a huge impact. Now, a certain 59 different apps were banned, which was Chinese apps. People said that what's the use of banning them? But do you know that PUBG, one of the apps which was included in that, and even TikTok, were making monthly profits of about 3 or 4 crores or more than that, just because it was being used in India. So yes, banning all these apps was a good move. And if you need the apps, yeah, just check if it's absolute necessity and just also look for a alternative. So first and foremost, check the MRP label, see if it has made in China or ROC. We don't need them. Let's look for alternatives. Let us all help the government go ahead and ban China. If not completely, at least make so much impact that economically they go ahead and face so many crises that they would never think of attacking us. Thank you.